Okay, now, during this time in England, this is referred to as the Victorian Age. And if you look at the years for Queen Victoria, you'll see that she was queen for a long time. This is a very, very long time to be queen. And a lot of people are curious, since we've been talking about the political revolutions, you know, how is Queen Victoria still queen when after the French Revolution and the royals having their heads chopped off by the guillotine and all the different revolutions sweeping throughout Europe. It's during this time that the king and queen really don't rule, but they're more so just public figureheads. There's previously, before Queen Victoria assumed the throne, there was what's called the Regency. And basically what happened is that the royals, kind of handed over power to Parliament and the process of selecting the Prime Minister that is still around in England today. So, but just like today, as well back then, the queens, king, queen, the royals were figureheads. They influence the public, even though they didn't really have much influence over policy. So, Queen Victoria, with her long rule, she gave England a sense of stability, also strict morality. And this is significant because it goes against a lot of the freedoms that we saw with the Romantics, especially with Lord Byron and his sexual freedoms and everything. That really gets stomped down once we hit the Victorian age. It's a swift turnaround. Here's a quote you probably have heard. The sun never sets upon the empire. During this time, this is a high water mark of British imperialism. There's colonies in Australia, New Zealand, India, South Africa. So literally, as the earth was rotating, the sun was always shining upon some part of the British Empire. And here's something mind-boggling. Great Britain, those small little islands there in the North Atlantic, control 1/4 of the world's total land surface. That's just mind-boggling, is how they were able to pull it off. But they did. And after Napoleon is defeated and America begins the Civil War, Great Britain becomes the world's superpower, which is just amazing to think about, is that, Great Britain being so small on the map, controlling all that land and being this world superpower, but there it is. Now, all of the technological advancements that we saw previously with Romanticism continue and accelerate, right? With rail travel becoming more and more prevalent, the prices drop, so more and more people can travel by rail. There's continuing improvements to the steam engine, which results in even more transportation, faster, cheaper. Industrial machines get smaller and get better. Photography. Yes, we can take pictures now. Boom. Telegrams. Wow. The telephone, guys. The motion picture camera. Wow. So what happens during this time, a lot of the things we think about as far as modern life and modernity, it's happening now. Wow. Look at all this that's now. Regarding thought and the arts, much of the Victorian age is often seen as a reaction against Romanticism. Now, before, in Romanticism, it was the individual. Now, utilitarianism. What's utilitarianism? The aim of action should be the largest possible balance of pleasure over pain, or the greatest happiness for the greatest number. This is, a direct reaction against individualism. Before with individual, right? The individual over society. Now, society over the individual. This is where we have ideas of service, tradition, duty, society, earnestness being stressed. Emotions become de-emphasized. Before, with the Romantics, it was emotions over intellect and reason, or heart over head. Now it's head over heart. Before, with the Romantics, we had subjectivity. Now what do we have? Objectivity. The I-E-Y-E is the judge. No longer the capital letter I. Wow. So what's happening here in realism is we're flipping all of those guiding principles of Romanticism, just flipping them. And what do we get? Boom. So this would be an example of a painting of London, of the Victorian time. Look how realistic this is. It's almost like a picture. Also noticed that the idealism that the Romantics were portraying is gone. It's lost. Look how grim this painting is. Right? You can just see how cold it is with everybody shivering. You can see how poor these people are. Look at this poor little guy over here to the right. He doesn't have a jacket. He doesn't, look at that, doesn't have socks. Oh, everybody just trying to keep warm, huddling together. Look at the figures here just off of center, right? Oh, just grimacing against the cold. A starving dog. Oh, this is just a picture, very, very, very desolate. To the far right, British redcoat, member of the military, home from foreign service, and he's waiting in line for the dole with all the other poor people. Oh, realism. Idealism is gone. So, in literature, it's a period of diversity. Poetry is still popular, but the boldness we saw and the experimentation we saw before with the Romantics, gone. What takes the place is the novel. So this is when the great novelists, you've probably heard some of these names and read their works, right? So instead of writing a poem, people were writing novels. Also, drama experiences a rebirth during this time as well. And in the next lecture, we'll continue through the overview of realism, the Victorian Age.